Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar, Parent Empowerment and Effective Strategy for Improving School Food and Fitness. We're so excited you're able to join us and spend 1 hour with us today. My name is Rosa Ramirez and I'm the Campaign Manager at Healthy Schools Campaign, which is the organization hosting today's webinar. We'll tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do in a couple of minutes, but first I wanted to quickly review some basics for today's webinar. Today, we will be together for approximately 1 hour, and a recording of the webinar will be available to view after today. We'll email a link out to everyone, and it will also be archived on the Healthy School Campaign's website by the end of this week. Also, at the end of the webinar, we would really appreciate it if you can take a minute to complete a quick survey about how we did if you found the information useful. We're always looking to improve. We'll save about 15 minutes at the end of the webinar for a question and answer session. So throughout each of the presentations, please ask questions by typing a question into the questions box, which is located on your control panel, and make sure to click the send button. So again, feel free to just chat away some of the questions, and we'll be sure to leave those last 15 minutes at the end to address them. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers for today's webinar. Guillermo Gomez, Hilda, Cazares, and Jose Hernandez. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Guillermo Gomez, Healthy Schools Campaign's Vice President of Urban Affairs. Guillermo is a social justice activist and has over 35 years experience in not-for-profit advocacy organizations that focus on underserved minority communities, primarily in Chicago. Guillermo is currently working on a goal of developing effective strategies for motivating and empowering parents, students, and community members in the conversation about student health and wellness. Without further ado, welcome Guillermo.
Good morning. I'd like to also welcome Jose and Hilda for joining us today in today's webinar. Today I will discuss Healthy Schools Campaign Parent Empowerment Program based on lessons learned during its successful NIH-funded partnership to reduce disparities in asthma and obesity in Latino schools. Through this project, Healthy Schools Campaign engaged and provided training and leadership development opportunities for low-income Latino parents. These parents formed Parents United for Healthy Schools and have gone on to transform their schools and communities. Our Parent Empowerment Program is central to our overall strategy to provide students with healthy food and opportunities for physical activity and knowledge needed for lifelong healthy habits. This work is key for 3 reasons. 1, we need to make policies and programs work at the school level before we can understand and address broader systems change. Parents are well positioned to work with their schools to make this happen. 2, parents are key constituents for schools, and organized parents can be a strong political base in their communities. And 3, parents are a link between school, family, and community. A connection that is essential if we are going to successfully address childhood obesity. First, let me share a couple of words about Healthy Schools Campaign. Healthy Schools Campaign works to ensure that schools can provide students with healthy environments, nutritious food, opportunities for physical activity, and experiences that support lifelong healthy habits. Next. Our Parent Empowerment Program uses a popular education framework. Popular education can be described as empowering people who feel marginalized socially and politically to take control of their own learning and affect social change. The learning process starts with participants' own personal experiences and uses a social justice frame to build on their knowledge and develop a common understanding and a plan of action. Let me share with you some of the ways we use popular education. At each stage, we give parents the opportunity to share their own experience, build a common understanding, and create an action plan. We are facilitators. They are the players. Next. Our training and support is characterized in 4 stages of parent organizing. 1 is peer-to-peer parent engagement. Healthy Schools Campaign staff and parent leaders engage with newly involved parents in a dialogue about their family's health and well-being. Parents often initially get involved by attending nutrition, cooking, and exercise classes that allow them to learn about health issues from an individualized point of view, and then broaden their perspectives to address issues facing their families, schools, and communities. While the dialogue that takes place with parents includes issues of personal responsibility, it emphasizes the social and political structures that have created barriers to health and issues of health disparities. Through our training, we provide parents with the knowledge and skills that they need to become champions for change in their schools and community, which is central to this work. At the heart of Healthy Schools Campaign's program is a 4-day Parent Leadership Institute. Some of the key elements of the training program are building parents' knowledge base about nutrition and physical activity through experiential learning, such as healthy meals and physical activity breaks. We conduct a power analysis of the school environment and develop a common understanding of who has the authority, both formally and informally, to improve school food and make decisions about recess and so forth. The power analysis explores the complex interplay between school-level authority, such as principals and teachers, and the district, as well as state and federal policies and programs. Key to this learning is to build a base of support at the school level for policy and program change. This includes how to engage principals, recruit other parents, and find other champions, and also by identifying local resources to support programming in schools, such as local hospitals, social service agencies, non-for-profit, business groups. And then we provide a clear roadmap for moving forward with specific and achievable next steps in connecting local efforts to what is happening at the district and state and federal levels. The training is supported year-round through quarterly meetings, one-on-one support, and other events. In our advocacy and leadership, we provide the opportunities for parents to be leaders in their children's schools at the district level and within Healthy Schools Campaign. Parents are encouraged to play leadership roles in their school wellness teams, but also in other aspects of school governance. Many parent leaders have gone on to run for local school councils. They are elected bodies that govern local schools in Chicago and integrate health and wellness into the overall goals and operations of the school. In fact, at a recent quarterly meeting, 98 of the 100 parents in attendance were members of a local school council. At the district level, parent leaders serve on committees and regularly speak at board meetings. As mentioned earlier, many of the citywide policy campaigns the Healthy School Campaign has led were built on issues identified by parents, and parents serve as key spokespeople for those campaigns. Parents also provide leadership for Healthy Schools parent program, serving on the steering committee that meets regularly to establish priorities and plan. Experienced parent leaders also mentor new participants. Now, a few comments about each stage. Slide. Engagement. People connect around health for themselves and their family. While the conversation that we have with parents includes personal responsibility, it emphasizes the social and political structures that have created barriers to health. Here's a simple tool developed by one of our parent leaders to have one-on-one discussions with other parents. It helps parents examine their lifestyles in Mexico, think about changes in their environment here, and then figure out what changes they can make in their communities to return to a healthier lifestyle. We also have programming for parents around nutrition education and physical activity, and provide opportunities for parents to use these new skills together through cooking classes and walking clubs. The social and political structures that exist have created an unequal access to communities that support health. We emphasize the social justice aspect of this work and explore these issues with parents. Next. Now, training. We have a series of programs all year round to give parents the knowledge and skills they need, and then to support them in their work. At the heart of our program is a 4-day Parent Leadership Institute. Here are some important elements of the training. Build personal knowledge about nutrition and physical activity through experiential learning. Build knowledge about school environment and conduct a power analysis to figure out who has the power to improve the food, who decides, as well as an understanding about federal and state and local policies. We build on skills so they can go back to their schools and build wellness teams, engaging principals, recruiting other parents, finding other champions. We identify resources. We also invite local political leaders to speak to the parents. And then we clear a roadmap for moving forward, providing very concrete next steps. The training is supported all year through quarterly meetings, one-on-one support, and other events. Next. In advocacy, while parents follow the common steps of wellness team buildings, we use a more traditional community organizing approach. We help parents understand the relationships of power, develop strategies to influence decision makers, establish short-term winnable goals, and continue to build parent power through this process. Next. We also provide continued opportunities for leadership at multiple levels. We encourage parents to play leadership roles in their school wellness teams, but we also encourage parents to run for local school councils. In Chicago, the local school councils are elected bodies that govern the school and have the opportunity to hire and fire the school principals. At the district level, many of our parent leaders serve on the district committees. For example, the district recently organized a school food parent advisory committee that some of our parent leaders served on. And also, parents regularly speak at board meetings. We also provide parents with leadership opportunities within our organization. We have a steering committee that meets regularly to create all of our programming. Parents present at the summit, quarterly meetings, and the trainings. And experienced parent leaders provide support to new participants. Next. I want to share one example of how parents learn, share, and use policy to create social change. Last fall, the Chicago Public Schools adopted a new set of policies, of wellness policies. Parents were involved in meetings with school staff throughout the policy development process, bringing their experience in creating wellness teams and implementing health-promoting policies and programs to the discussion. Once the policy was established, the Parent Steering Committee reviewed the new policy and developed materials and tools to help parents understand and act on these changes. This is an example of how parents broke down a complicated and long policy so that they could understand it and then participate in the process. Now parents are well equipped to champion implementation of these policies. Next. There are some barriers of transportation, childcare, and language. But there are also opportunities. There's strong leadership from the First Lady. There are recognition programs both locally and nationally. Next. Parents in Chicago, motivated by their concern for their children's health and empowered with knowledge and skills, have made a tremendous difference in the school food and fitness environment. And I thank you for your interest in learning about and supporting parent enrollment in addressing childhood obesity.
Thank you so much, Guillermo. That was a wonderful presentation. Next up we have Jose Hernandez. Oh, I'm sorry. Next up we have Hilda Cazares, who's a parent and great advocate of children's health in her community. But before I give you a full introduction to Hilda, I wanted to ask a poll to the audience. We would like to know who's in the room. Who are you? So take a moment to respond to the quick poll that we posted. And meanwhile, I will introduce Hilda Cazares, who is a vital member of Parents United for Healthy Schools. She is passionate about improving children's health and is very involved in the entire community to get them involved in this journey to combat childhood obesity. Hilda started this journey with us many years ago, and she was involved in her local school council and parent advisory council in her community. At these meetings, she would see that the breakfast fare would be sugary pastries and coffee, never any healthy fare. And from there, she thought, why not switch out the breakfast fare to be healthier? She started to work with parents to create these healthy changes little by little. And from there, she took off into creating a healthy support system for her family, for her community. And here today, she's here to talk to us and share with us her journey. But before that, I want to share the poll results with you. We have a little mix in the room, some parents, government representatives, and a lot of nonprofits. And maybe next time we can explore what this other category is. But without further ado, I want to give a warm welcome to a great friend and great advocate, Hilda Cazares.
Good morning. My name is Hilda Cazares, and I'm a Mexican immigrant and a parent. I'm a parent of 5 children. I've been affiliated with the local school council, the No Child Left Behind Parent Advisory Council at Westinghouse, where my youngest daughter is attending. I'm very proud to say that we also have our first parent lead wellness team at Westinghouse. I also serve at the research task force where I first started doing at Westinghouse and a Healthy Schools campaign, collecting more than 5,000 signatures to bring research task force to Chicago Public Schools. I am a parent United for Healthy Schools on the steering committee. This committee is actually planned to make our meetings and to share ideas with other different schools. And also, I wanted to mention that this is being supported by Guillermo Gomez and Jovita Flores. I introduced the wellness team in my school. It was not a very easy thing. It was tough in order for me to bring health, wellness to our school. But I did it. And bringing this to our school, it happens by inviting parents to participate on the summit workshop that we have this past month. Seeing the parents, the parents start seeing the view for what I was trying to bring to our school. It was difficult for me because they were not seeing the same picture I was seeing. Once these parents attend the summit, they see the whole picture of what I was trying to bring to Westinghouse College Prep. They took the training, and now this is how we form our wellness team. I'm also affiliated to Healthy Schools Campaign, Parents United for Healthy Schools. I serve on the research task force, like I say, collected 5,000 signatures. And I became involved in Healthy Schools Campaign 6 years ago when my daughter was at the elementary school. I heard about health issues, and I have a lot of interest because in my family it was a obesity problem, and also I wanted to improve. I wanted to make changes on the way I was preparing food in my house. So after seeing this, I thought it was a very good idea in order for me to make changes at the school where my daughter was attending. So I formed the wellness team where we see a very successful turn with the parents. And after introducing healthy schools to the elementary schools, I also introduced Healthy Schools campaign to the collaboratives. The collaboratives are, as you know, the city of Chicago is so big that the city is divided into 6 different areas. In these are called collaboratives. Each collaborative is more than 50 schools attending. So these are parents from different schools that are attending these meetings to get the information. And Healthy Schools campaign was one of them. We made changes, and the collaboratives by bringing more fresh fruits and more grains, and we started eliminating sweetness. And it was a very successful turn. We have now most of the collaboratives making changes, and also the schools that are attending to these meetings, they start making their changes also in their own schools. I was also part of seeing the interest and the important interest on the healthy issues. So I decided to take a class which Chicago Community Kitchens. It was the opportunity for me to learn more about nutrition, and I started bringing different recipes, healthy recipes for the parents, and I started also giving workshops for the parents where they can how can they bring more vegetables and fruits to at home, and the ways of cooking different. I also motivating parents to start eliminating coloring foods or candies, and start letting them know the importance of bringing high coloring, but more in vegetables and fruits. So this gives the opportunity to the parents to see why our children are not really learning in school. It's something that is making them think that eating more healthy will bring our children best results and educationally in a different ways. You know, they can according to their needs. What else? See, one of the other options was to give recipes to the parents, you know, where they can introduce more veggies and grains and more healthy choices to them. You know, how and the way preparing them, you know, is one of the things that our children get more motivation and eating more vegetables and fruits. And I took classes, like I said, at the Chicago Community Kitchens to give to the parents, and successfully the parents are learning, and they're giving the same recipes they're working at home with their children. So they're learning also, you know, how they can do their own dishes at home, and at the same time is motivate the whole family to make the changes, the same changes I did when I started with my family, and I've been hearing a lot of great results about about the changes they've been making. It was tough for them, you know, to start introducing more vegetables and fruits, but at the end, you know, they realize that they feel more happier and eating more veggies and fruits than more meat, eliminating meat at home. I wanted to thank all the parents that are listening to this conversation, and I hope that you start making changes at home. Believe me, they will be it's going to be taking a lot of good reactions to your family. That's not only for your family, it's for the community also, for your school, for any person that you approach tell them about the importance of eating vegetables and fruits and grains and more healthy stuff. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hilda. That was a beautiful testimony. And the photo that you just saw on the previous screen is actually Hilda in the black blazer jacket with a spread of her healthy breakfast fare that she caters around for different community meetings in the area. So again, thank you very much for that beautiful testimony. We'll be sure to ask you some questions at the end. So next up we have Jose Hernandez, who is also just a great leader and a parent of a child in the Chicago Public Schools. He's also a member of the Parents United for Healthy Schools Steering Committee. I'll tell you a little bit more about him, but first I want to ask you a poll. In your work, do you do parent organizing? Yes, no, not currently, but we're interested. Take a few moments to answer that. So Jose Hernandez, again, has been a great friend of Healthy Schools Campaign, but also a great leader. He also participated in the recess task force that was brought to the district to bring back recess to all CPAS schools. He's a current member of our steering committee. He's also currently a member of the local school council at his local elementary school and also the neighborhood high school. He is also a current member of the School Food Parent Advisory Committee, working there to improve school food to be more nutritious and less processed. Here are the results of our quick poll. About 39% of the audience says yes, they do some type of form of parent organizing. That is great to hear. We'd love to hear what you think about this webinar, so please send us your questions. And 22% said they don't, and I'm glad to see some of you guys are very interested in what we do. Thanks so much. So without further ado, we'll have Jose Hernandez take it.
I'm a member of the local school council at my school, but let me give you some background. So, of the Chicago is the third largest district in the U.S. Has a total of 681 schools in the city, and we have over 400,000 students registered at those schools. We're also in a very, very unique situation here in the city because we have what's called local school council, and those are made up of 6 parents, 2 community members. Both of those positions are elected by the public, by the attendance area, and also the parents that have registered students at those schools. There's also 2 teachers who are members of the local school council. There is 1 non-teaching staff member and the principal. Those are the members of the local school council at the local elementary schools. For high schools, it's basically the same, except that there is an additional member, which is a student, and he also has, he or she has also voting rights. What we do is we work with the school to approve the budget. We also work with the school in the school improvement plan, and we also are charged with evaluating the principal, selecting a new principal when one retires, and so we get to interview the candidates and then give a contract to a principal. So I'm a member of, like I said, one of those councils at my local elementary school, and we were pioneers in bringing back recess at that school. And the reason we did that, oh, by the way, as I mentioned, we approved the budget. In approving the budget at that school, we extended the day. We extended the day for 30 minutes, 20 of those which were academic minutes, and the rest, the other 10, were to provide recess for the students. So that's because we recognize the benefits of the physical activity, and so we decided to extend the day. It wasn't for the whole week; it was for 4 days, Monday through Thursday. But we saw that brought benefits to the school, to the children. We consistently outperform the rest of the schools. The children will return from recess more alert and ready to learn, which was really, really great. The school basically opened up in 2005 to relieve overcrowding, and initially the student tested around 30% meet or exceeds, and then by 2010 we were in the 80% of the students meeting or exceeding the expectations, which is, that's what we want for all the schools to keep going up. Also, I'm a member of the local school council advisory board. This is a citywide group, which we're charged also with reviewing many of the district policies that are brought to us prior to the board's approval. I'm also a member of the School Parent Advisory Committee, where we analyze what has worked, what hasn't worked, what are the challenges, how to improve our foods, how to have better tasting foods. We analyze even the color of the foods of the plate, so to make them more attractive, so that the students eat their foods. A lot of times, students don't really if they're not attracted to the food, to the plate, they're not going to be eating those items on the plate. We also work with recess, trying to see what type of equipment is better, if we should have structure or unstructured recess. Also, if we or the school should have pre-cooked foods or cooked on-site foods. The lunches for the students. Most of the schools have cooked on-site foods, but there's quite a lot of schools that have pre-cooked foods. So that's one of the things, some of the items that we do there. We promote healthy habits, also nutritional education classes for parents as well as for students. We like them to have healthier foods, increase their physical activity. Also, as Rosa mentioned earlier, I'm a member of the Parents United for Healthy Schools. I'm part of the steering committee. We meet whenever it's necessary, but we have at least quarterly meetings. We also have the Parent Summit, where parents learn strategies or learn from other schools what has worked and what hasn't worked at their schools, their particular schools, how to work with the challenges. I have participated there for the last 5 years. I also was part of the collection of the signatures to bring back recess to all CPS schools, even though my school already had recess, but since I saw the benefit of recess, I wanted for all children in the city of Chicago to have that opportunity and that benefit. So testified a few times before the board. Also promoted the creation of the wellness teams in every school. And also promoted the schools having breakfast in the classroom. We collected signatures, testified before the board, and presented over 5,000 petitions in support of the breakfast in the classroom. Most of the students in the city of Chicago, 87%, come from families from low income. So, which is, it's very important for the students to have quality foods in their stomach so that they can do better academically. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because Chicago is so big, and there was also opposition to this. Some schools, a couple of schools in well-to-do areas wanted to oppose that, and but we were able to convince the district to go ahead with the program to bring breakfast in classrooms. Some of the challenges that we currently have is street vendors. Once the school lets out, there's a lot of vendors, street vendors,
by the sidewalk of many of the schools. So one of the possible solutions would be a new law prohibiting or limiting the sale of candy items on school days. So that's one of the things that we're exploring to see if it's a possibility, either doing that citywide or countywide, however we might be able to do it. But that's one of the things that we are working on. CPS has recently announced a Learn Well program, and basically they're adopting a lot of the initiatives that we have been working for years and years. Right now, they're adopting part of the Learn Well plan is to for students to increase their physical activity to 30 minutes a day. Also, to schedule recess at least 20 minutes before and do it before lunch. Also, to integrate nutrition classes for every single grade. Provide healthy food and drink options throughout the school day. To focus on healthy celebrations, because a lot of the times parents were so used to bringing cupcakes to celebrate their children's birthday, and it's good to celebrate. It was good to socialize, but it's not good to have 30 students, or even more than 30 in most of the cases. 30 parents bring cupcakes to the classroom, and also candy. And then on top of that, the other celebrations, Valentine's Day, Christmas time. And so there was a lot of times where students were offered sweets, candy items, or cupcakes or other items. And then fundraising. Fundraising, most of the schools used to have just a sale of chocolates or candy items, and we're staying away from that. The new policies that were adopted by CPS also limits the candy items that are sold within the school grounds during the school day. So we're moving to a healthier fundraising, and also non-food items. One of the other things is reinforce good behavior with non-food rewards, and also not to withhold physical activity as punishment. We don't want our kids to see physical activity or food as a reward. We don't want them to see either physical activity or food as a punishment either, because they'll take that to their daily life. That'll be a life experience, and we don't want them to grow up thinking that it's good to consume foods or sweets based on something good that they did, or a success that they might have had. It's better for them to have physical activity, fruits, vegetables, other things. A dance, something where they have movement. We're also trying to promote and continue growing the number of wellness teams at each of the schools within the district. And let's see, what else should I? As I mentioned, there's a couple of new policies, and I was also involved in training parents as to how to include those policies while doing the principal's evaluation. We do a yearly principal evaluation and see and evaluate the works of the principal to see how they're following the school improvement plan. And now with these new policies, the local school council members needed to understand how to, what the correlation is between those policies and the principal evaluation. So the picture shows there, parents listening to one of the presentations. We also have, Healthy Schools also has a principal's breakfast, which rewards principals that have a healthy school, a well-rounded healthy school, and where the students have physical activity, where they have nutrition classes, where they have, many of these items that we need to promote in the city of Chicago. Also, parents. The top left picture you see physical activity by parents. It's very, very important that parents support the work that schools are doing, so that students see that, doesn't matter where they are, whether it's at school, whether it's out of the school, at home, they can eat nutritious food, eliminate the fried foods, eliminate sweet items, candy, as much as possible. We're not saying just get rid of it. We're saying limit those quantities, and it can be done. It can be done, and a lot of things have changed in the city of Chicago throughout the years. It has taken us a lot of work, but things can be done. And so I invite you all to continue this type of work, or if you're starting, there's a lot of opportunities out there that are going to bring benefit to our students. And the benefits are going to come in the way of physical benefits as well as academic benefits. So thank you. Thank you for your participation. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Jose. It's just so great to hear how a movement can be built by little actions being built over time. Thank you so much for that wonderful testimony. Our questions have been coming in, lots of questions. So I'm going to be asking each of the presenters a few questions. And the first one, we've had a few questions say, I have so much trouble engaging parents or getting them to come to meetings or, having an ongoing commitment with parents. And so overall the question was, how do you get parents to join wellness teams? How do you keep them engaged on that? So I thought I would ask Hilda and Jose, it's like, how did you join? How did you decide to be part of a wellness team and remain so active over time? What were those reasons?
Well, we need to have consistency, and for myself, I wanted my daughter to grow up as a healthy child. She just finished 4th grade, and I wanted her to have a good quality life, eating healthier foods, even if they're not organic. But we can eliminate foods. We can eliminate or diminish the consumption of candy items, and increase also physical activity. So for myself, I had a self-interest in this, and I think we all, as parents, have self-interest in this, and this is the way we have to look at this. We have to see the benefits that we can bring to our child, so it can bring to our families. There's a lot of potential for our children to develop diabetes or so many other diseases that come from all this food. And that's where, if you talk to a parent, ask them, don't you want to see your child increase their grades, have a consistent academic performance at school, as well as physical performance in the gym classes in their lives?
Thank you, Jose. Hilda, any tips for schools on how to best engage parents and keep them active and committed?
It is very difficult to engage parents when you have a child in high school. I think it's more easy when you have elementary students, but I take the risk on bringing more parent involvement to our school. I was getting some ideas, how can I motivate parents to come to school, and also, how can I bring healthy issues to them. So the key that I used, there were 2 keys. The first one was to bring parents to the summit. Like I mentioned before, they can see the vision for what I wanted to bring to our high school, and they did come. They did see the same pictures as I mentioned before, but and then they can talk to other parents about what I was trying to bring. that was one of the things. And the other one, in order for the parents to see what I was trying to do, I started doing like little simple things. And reporter pickup, I decided to make fruit cups, and I started inviting them to get a fruit cup, and at the same time I was getting signatures for parents that were interested and participating on healthy issues, and also I started letting them know that we were going to start making changes in our school, and the change was that we have the student council has a store with where the students can come and purchase something during the day when they're hungry. And those snacks were not healthy. So we made the change on having healthy snacks for them. So the parents were very excited to hear about these changes. And they also get motivated to learn more about healthy issues. That's why we got our wellness tip on Westinghouse College Prep.
Thank you. That's a great example of just showing how a type of event like a parent summit and providing educational opportunities for parents to learn about these issues, but then also creating little ways that parents can start wanting to demand healthier items in their school. The other question was directed more about, there's lots of barriers that can be seen as, debilitating parent engagement, such as transportation, childcare, jobs, et cetera, et cetera. Guillermo, you mentioned that, you really are very thoughtful of how to address those barriers. How do you do that with the parent leadership?
Well, basically, let's take, for instance, transportation. We try to meet in central locations so that there is easy access. The other, we've worked with parents to do carpooling for, getting to meetings or going to, for instance, the Board of Education. If we have to go to early meetings where we have to be there at 6 o'clock at the line to register and so forth. Say, for instance, language barriers. We try to do most of our parents involved with Parents United for Healthy Schools are Spanish first language, and we try to have services that are bilingual, so that we have English-speaking participants. Both constituents can get the opportunity to learn at the same time. Many parents that are involved with Parents United for Healthy Schools, have children and don't have access to childcare. So we try to make room at most of our meetings to have childcare. When we do our parent summits, we have childcare, a room reserved where we have professional or parent volunteers that take care of the children and provide healthy activities so that it's not just wasted time. And also for the Parent Leadership Institute, we have for the last 7 years provided childcare so that parents can participate and parents feel safe that their children are being provided with some sort of service, activities that are healthy, and they're also part of this ongoing process of training.
Okay, great. Thank you, Guillermo. And kind of another question, we had a few questions come in talking about how this story about parents really organizing themselves to improve school food and fitness, this is really a case study of a specific community, the Latino community. And in particular, some questions and concerns about how do you work with within the Latino community, especially undocumented parents, to become leaders and become activists and become very, vocal in what they want to see changed in their schools. And how do you, address the sensitivity for some parents that may not want to take a vocal stance because they're afraid for security concerns?
That's a very good question. I'm glad that it was asked. First of all, we take a premise of message and messenger. The the leadership reflects the community, and it's a safe environment for parents to step up to the plate and take on different roles, in particular in their schools. Second, we never ask anyone about their permanent status here in Chicago or in the U.S. So in that sense, parents feel like they belong, that they can take on their role within their schools, because no human being is illegal in this world. So I think that by understanding the community and being sensitive to incorporate anyone that has a child in their schools, and then reflecting it through the messenger. The messenger is key to getting parent engagement. The question was, how do you get parents to become engaged and sustain, the participation? Well, you have to have someone that understands the community. The community needs, and then can convey that message in a way that parents feel comfortable, so that they can be part of this ongoing changes. Jose mentioned the whole question of health disparities in childhood obesity. When you talk about that with parents, and they take on the challenge of saying, I want to make those changes because I want my child to be a healthy and successful individual, I think that's the commitment and the parents have. So it's a matter of making the connection. Why is that different? Why is that going to make a difference for me? Well, if you want to step back a little bit, in our community, we all know, and when I say in our community, Latino and community, we all know someone in our family or friends that are already suffering from obesity, from diabetes, or some other health-related issues. So we can make that connection when we say, is your child going to live as long as I am, or are they going to have a shorter lifespan? I think that's where Jose and Hilda were saying, well, you know what, I'm going to step to the plate and make that connection. So it's the messenger, and I think that's providing a safe environment for people or parents to engage and feel like, yes, we're going to make that change. And in Chicago, that model has worked, and it's a model that could be duplicated across the nation.
Great, thank you, Guillermo. I think that's beautifully stated. The messenger is just as important as the message. So our last and final question, many of our questions here are saying, food is so personal. Food is so personal, and especially in low-income communities, $1 for a candy bar is just a way to show your love to your child. How did you get the support from the parents in your school to change to non-food celebrations or healthier celebrations or birthday celebrations at your school? Or Hilda, for you, how were you able to gather parent approval and support for changing the snack items at the school store? So first we'll go to Jose and talk about how were you able to get support for this at your daughter's elementary school?
Right. Well, it's something that's very, very difficult. Did I say extremely difficult? That's what it is. It's really difficult to do, but it can be done. That's the thing. So whenever we have any challenge, any issue, I always ask the parents, what can be done? Let's not concentrate on what the difficulties are or the challenge. Let's concentrate on the one thing or the two things that we can do to move forward in the right direction. So if moving forward in the right direction is, let's say, having better items to do fundraising, let's do that. Let's find one item, two items that we can eliminate. At the same time, let's find the one item or two items or more that we can now incorporate, which are healthier. So we always try to have a positive attitude, and also we always try to lead by example and see how children are being affected. The children that are having a problem with obesity, the children that cannot move and have a consistent breathing rate, and we, where they have difficulty once they work with up the steps. So the same thing, keeping in mind what the self-interest is for the parents, And the self-interest for the parents is their children academic success, as well as their children health and wellness. And that's basically what it is. But it's not difficult. I mean, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. Very, very possible.
That's great advice. Thank you, Jose. Hilda, did you have anything to add?
Actually, in high schools, it's different. Students don't celebrate their birthday, with cupcakes and any type of food. But they do have a sports fundraising because there's a lot of different sports, and there's not enough money for them to buy their equipment or their whatever they want to be wearing. So we decided for this coming year on fundraising to start the parents get together and start planning healthy foods. Like, for example, we can probably be selling fresh fruit cups or any snacks that are healthy for them. So this is one of the plans that we have for this coming year. Not give them anything that is not healthy for them.
Okay, great. I think this is all great advice, and we welcome everyone that has tuned in today to our webinar to continue this journey with us, and remembering that parents are such a pivotal and key piece in moving along and improving the school food and fitness environment. I want to remind you that a recording of this webinar will be available to view after today. We'll send out an email with everyone's contact information, the slides from today. And I want to say thank you very much to our presenters. A heartfelt thank you for sharing your testimony and sharing your experience with us. Have a good one. Thank you.